Hey everybody, welcome to Guard Dogs Vlogs. Um, so today has been a pretty interesting day. I've had a lot of interesting conversations with people, and man, it's a wonder um, the the views out there that uh, you know everybody has their own opinions. Everybody's got their own ideas about how life works, and about how things should be regulated, and whether it's abortion or vaccinations or firearms or anything of that nature. But it's a wonder that in this nation that was founded upon the principles of liberty and freedom, it's a wonder that how many people in this nation completely and totally forget and circumvent the Constitution of the United States, the official law of this land that gives us, the Bill of Rights, those first 10 amendments that we base our that basically write our human natural freedoms in stone. I've mentioned it before. Mankind does not need a First Amendment written in stone. It is a human natural right that I may be able to speak freely and however I want to talk. I can say what I want to say. I can think how I want to think. I can have the opinions that I want to have. That even goes for the quote unquote racist person. That person has a right to speak the way that they want to speak about, whatever race or creed or culture that they're against. They have every right to speak out against those. They have every right. Who am I as a human being to tell that other human being how they can or cannot speak, or how they can or cannot think? It is a human, God-given natural right. Everybody has it. It doesn't matter your race, your creed, your ethnicity. It makes no difference. It makes no difference. So these these amendments that are in place, quote unquote, our Bill of Rights, our founding fathers wrote these things in stone because they knew that someday there were going to be a group of tyrants, a group of power-hungry individuals who were going to come along one day and say, you don't have a right to say that. You don't have a right to own that. That property that is on your property is not really your property. That actually belongs to the state, or it actually belongs to the federal government. They knew these things. They knew these things because these are the things that they ran away from. The people that came to this country, the people that came to this land, came in search of religious freedoms. It was during the Reformation, and the people came. They crossed the ocean and landed on this country because they were running away from persecution. They were in search of religious freedoms, and they found it in a new land, and that is what they established. They understood the natural and freedoms and liberties that people possessed, and they were that's what they wanted. That's what they were searching for. So, people constantly say, you shouldn't have a right to own this firearm. What need do you have an AR-15? What need do you have of the AK-47? What need do you have of, you can't talk about Zionism, and you can't talk about, Muslims and things of that nature. But, they completely and totally forget the fact that every one of those things I have a human and natural right to do. I have a natural right to defend myself by any means necessary. You can't tell me how I can and cannot defend myself. And I could say what I want to say. It makes no difference. It's hilarious to me because I see all the time on Twitter. Excuse me, I'm still kind of sick. Um, it's amazing to me how on Twitter I see, so many MAGA supporters, so many Trump supporters. Everybody, man, everybody is still chasing this. Muslims are the enemy. And, you know, but at the same time, you turn around and you talk about, you talk about the fact that, Israel is a tyrannical state, just like the United States is a tyrannical state, or, you talk about Zionism, or you talking about Israel, boy, I mean, it's like it all hit the fan. You can't talk about them. You can't talk about that. Or these same people talk about the enemy that is the Muslim, coming over the border and all of these, yet they're in support of a wall on the southern border. Let me ask you something. What are walls meant to do? What is a giant wall meant to do? Okay, it's meant to keep people out, sure. Well, you kind of forget that it's kind of meant to keep people in, too. The massive walls that are around federal penitentiaries, do they keep people out or do they keep people in? I'm anti-wall on the southern border because walls are not only meant to keep people out, but they're meant to keep people in. And in the event that this nation becomes an all-out tyrannical nation where the military is used against the people, you are not going to be able to leave this country. You're not going to be able to leave, just like our founding fathers and their forefathers before them. You're not going to be able to leave in search of prosperity, peace, and freedom, because that same wall that you were so for, you're totally against now. Or I mean, you can't get out of now. You can't leave. All because you thought that was going to solve the problem that is the immigration problem. What is the root cause? Yes, destabilization across nations like the Nicaraguas and the Hondurases and the Mexicos and the Somalias and the wherever else the immigrants are all coming from. Who is directly responsible for those destabilizations? Do a little bit of research, people. Who is behind this? Every nation that the United States has been involved in has been left in ruins. They've been left in ruins. And everybody blames the communism and the socialism, and yeah, those don't work. We've seen that. It's obvious that you look at the principles behind socialism or communism, it ain't gonna work. Everybody knows this. The nations that stand for communism and socialism never last. We understand that. But you cannot deny the fact that the United States has entered and overthrown many of these nations that are having issues now, that the people are leaving, and we're having immigration issues, with those same people. You can't deny the fact that the United States has had an active role in destabilizing these nations. If tomorrow we got rid of the massive war state that is the United States of America, if we got rid of it, the war state, brought everybody home, stopped destabilizing nations, and got out of nations that obviously don't want us there and have openly said that they don't want us there anymore. Take Iraq, for example. Iraq continuously asks us, you can leave now. Leave. We don't want you here anymore. Do we leave? No. In fact, we moved more troops in, like happened just the other day. Moved a convoy of trucks and vehicles into Iraq without even asking. So imagine if we got rid of that war state. If we said, you know what, bring everybody home, no more war. We're not playing this game anymore. Imagine if we did that. Imagine if we stopped sending, foreign aid. We stopped sending foreign aid in return. We don't send foreign aid because we want to make them a better place. No, it's all, you do this for me, I'll do this for you. I'll send you $100 million in aid, but in return, you have to, allow us access to your oil reserves. Or your gold reserves. Or you have to support us. You have to support us, Colombia, in the overthrow or coup d'etat of the Venezuelan government. Because the Venezuelan government refuses to play ball with the United States. What was Juan Guaido's number one initiative that he was going to take care of whenever he was going to get in office? He was going to grant ExxonMobil the rights to come into Venezuela and begin exploration. Never mind the fact that ExxonMobil has just recently found massive offshore reserves in Guyana. But we don't talk about that. They can't get to it. Not yet. Venezuela's pushing back. Is Maduro a good guy? No. I mean, I'm sure that he's a dictator. He's a political leader. He's a rich political leader. What do you think? Do you think he's a good guy? Of course not. Of course he's not. Does that mean that the United States has the right to come in and overthrow him because he as a dictator, because he as a political leader in Venezuela refuses to give in to our demands? No, that gives us no right to do that. But imagine if we took away the foreign aid. If we took away the massive warfare state of the United States of America, that we got out of everybody's backyard, that we left, that we stopped causing problems in other nations. And those nations had the time to repair themselves. Do you think we would have a massive immigration problem? No, we would not. Of course we wouldn't. But instead, the pro-Trump, quote-unquote, patriotic conservative crowd is following, they're the blind following the blind, and blind leaders leading the blind. Instead, these people are, pushing the building of the wall instead of figuring out what the core of the problem is. Nobody asks any questions about why in the world we're in all of these nations building bases, destabilizing, arming terrorists, arming ISIS, arming Al-Qaeda, killing innocent civilians. We don't ask these questions. We just, pro-Trump, build the wall. It's madness. It's madness. And I try to tell the people that are close to me these things, but it's easier to retweet, I guess. I don't know. It's just everybody else is supporting, Donald Trump because he's a great patriot. Why shouldn't we? It's too hard to stand up and speak for truth. It's too hard to do that, If I do that, I won't have any friends. If I do that, I can't hang out with the same people that I hang out with all the time. I can't have that. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. I don't hang out with people anyways. I feel like it's way more important for me to be standing up and speaking for truth and speaking for our, for the protection of our freedoms and liberties. I think it's more important to do that than it is for me to be drinking beer and hanging out on the river all the time. I can't. I'm over it. And I'll tell you one thing. I've been lazy for a long time. And I'm tired of sitting on the dang couch and listening to these videos and retweeting and stuff like that. I'm over that. I can't. I'm sick of it, man. I don't care if people listen to this stuff or not. Eventually my voice will get out there. And I have to start being a voice, in just my community and my county. I'm going to be speaking up, man. I figured, my congressman is a Democrat who is beyond pro, dreamers and getting these illegals over here, and man, he's hardcore that. And every single time that he says anything, boy, I'm gonna be on top of it. I'm gonna be on top of him because since I've come over here, it's super blue. There are Democrats everywhere. It's right. I'm 2.5, 3 hours away from Houston. Seguin and Guadalupe County, New Braunfels, they've always been blue counties, and but what's strange about it is I came from West Texas recently, and West Texas ain't just a whole heck of a lot better, because everybody over there is too devoted on their careers. They're too devoted on the almighty dollar. The love of money is the root of all evil, and I'm telling you, over there in West Texas, boy, evil is rampant, because the only thing that people care about over there is the almighty dollar. Oil field, making that money, getting the big homes, and you know what? It's going to be just as barren over there, just as absent of freedom and liberty over there as it is anywhere else. I figured that much out. In fact, there are harder workers over here than there are over there, because the economy isn't as great, here in these towns as it is over there, But anyways, I'm just gonna get into a couple of things that we need to be looking at, namely for me, a couple of the biggest things have been I think it was just today, Cory Booker, the tyrant, power-hungry Cory Booker, introduced Senate Bill 2449, which is the Federal Firearm Licensing Act. If you go over to High Impact Vlogs, Brian over at High Impact Vlogs broke it down pretty well. I was out in the field and I'm not able to bring up the actual bill itself. I'm going to do that probably tomorrow. I'll go over it and highlight some stuff, and I'll write out another one, or I'll do out another vlog. But this 2449 basically, in a nutshell, is going to require everybody to have a license to purchase any sort of a firearm. I don't believe that it's going to go... Actually, I think it does involve ammunition as well. But I'm going to have to do a little bit more research. But like I said, if you're interested in it right now, go to High Impact Vlogs. Brian over there. Let him know that I sent you, if you could. Maybe he can kind of throw, I don't know. I'm just trying to get this voice out there, guys. It's whatever. But, yeah, I mean, he breaks it down pretty good just as far as what the bill says. But it's definitely something that needs to be, that we have to start being a voice. I mean, this is dangerous, guys. This is very, very dangerous. And the thing about it is, people are going to say constantly, oh, that's never going to pass. It's never going to pass. Guys, they're doing this a little bit at a time all the time. I mean, they're not backing off. These people are not backing off on the attempt on your rights, on your freedoms and liberties. They are not backing off. So why do we not back off? Why do we just sit here and say, you know what? There's no way that anything's going to happen. They're not going to take our gun rights. It's not going to happen. Why do we do that? When these people, they'll never give up. So it's time to stand. If you're a Trump supporter, there's things that you need to understand about Trump. Trump is absolutely anti-Second Amendment. He's banned bump stocks, expanded background checks. The guy hates the Second Amendment, but he's never going to openly come out and tell you that. You've seen it probably 100 times in the past couple of days, but I got this one from the Patriot Post, about vaping, and Donald Trump. It says vaping banning smoke and mirrors, and it's basically talking about the fact that Donald Trump is, hardcore banning or wanting to ban vaping because it's killed 6 people already. And I mean, you got to kind of think about what the gun crowd's over here saying. They're saying, how in the world are you talking about banning vaping because it's killed a few people, but you're saying nothing about guns? But in the background, Donald Trump is supporting red flag laws. He's gonna be in support of this stuff. So you better stand up and you better say something, because the only thing that's going to be holding this thing back is the Senate. I promise you. Donald Trump will sign this thing if it goes to his desk. He ain't going to veto it. So you better stand up and you better make your voice heard. You better do something. Call your senators. Call your congressmen. Tell them, look, dude, we are not in support of this. You made an oath to defend the Constitution of the United States. Shall not be infringed is shall not be infringed. There is no misinterpretation of that. Period. And then, like I said, for you people who are diehard MAGA Trump supporters, look, why is Donald Trump talking about banning anything? Donald Trump has no constitutional authority to do anything like this. Something like this, like a vaping quote-unquote epidemic, should be totally and completely reserved to the state. And moreover, the local and city ordinances or laws. But either way, that power reserves with the state. It is not a constitutional authority that he possesses. Donald Trump is a traitor, and he is breaking his oath of office. He's done so several times, and for some reason, you people just continue to worship this man. You better get, man. And you know what? Quote unquote Christians are the worst about it. You call yourself a Christian, that you love the Constitution and you love Jesus and everything like that, and you praise and worship this Donald Trump. I'm going to tell you something right now. Donald Trump is absolutely not a man that I would want marrying my daughter. Never. Never in a million years would I want that man marrying my daughter. Is this the man that you want running the country? He's stepped on his oath of office on more than one occasion. He's a traitor, and you continue to worship this man. I'll tell you what, Christians, you better get right. You better get into the Word, and you better realize that he is a blind leader leading the blind. Your eyes may be open, but they ain't open. You need to look around. You need to see the things that are happening around you. You need to see the things that this man truly stands for. And you need to realize that he is just another politician, and that they're coming for your rights. A little bit at a time, and it's happening every time. There is no Q conspiracy. He ain't secretly saving the world. This ain't 4 or 5D chess. It ain't happening. Every single day it's getting worse and worse and worse, and you're simply trusting something. You really don't even know what it is. You're just trusting it. You need to wake up. You need to realize that the Almighty God is the highest power in this. He is the highest power. There is none higher than him. Donald Trump is not a chosen one, even though he claims to be. Wake up. Wanting to ban vaping. Where do you get that power? Where do you get that authority, Donald Trump? What authority do you have to ban vaping? If I wanted to take up vaping right now, that is my right. I can do what I want. Same goes for the next story. I got this one from 9 to 5 Mag, but there's a lot of the Firearms blog has it as well, but I couldn't print it off. Basically, the DOJ asks Apple and Google for personal details of GunScope app users. So the Obsidian 4 app. The Obsidian 4 app can be used to sight in your rifle scope. You'll have to check it out, you firearms owners. I haven't checked this thing out, but apparently it's pretty good. Basically it's an app that you use to sight in any of your firearm scopes. But the DOJ, Donald Trump's appointed DOJ, has requested that Apple and Google share the personal details, names, phone numbers, IP addresses for users of this app. This is Donald Trump's administration. This is Donald Trump's DOJ. Trump supporters. Hey, yeah, Trump is pro-gun. Trump loves us. Trump is saving the world. All the while, his administration is under your nose, stripping you of your rights and turning you over to evil corporations. How is that right? What authority do they have to do any of this? But, and again, there's people that are going to unwaveringly support this. I know people that are going to unwaveringly support this man, no matter what. Because he has some kind of God complex, and for some reason, people, including Christians, find that attractive. It's easier for him to claim that he's standing for their rights and freedoms than it is for them to stand up and fight for their own. You got the story that broke from Politico just yesterday. I think it was yesterday or the day before. Let me look at this. It was the day before yesterday. It's a story about Israel. Israel accused of planting mysterious spy devices near the White House. Now, the stingray boxes were found all around in different places around the White House. And Israel, it was accused to have been Israel. Former senior intelligence official, it was pretty, quote unquote, it was pretty clear that the Israelis were responsible. Of course, Donald Trump has come out and said, no, there's no way. Not Israel, there's no way. Israel has been spying on the United States for decades. They've had spies among us for decades. Nobody ever questioned the dancing Israelis or the Mossad connection of 9/11. Nobody ever questions, anything that Israel does, in other nations that are surrounding them. Why? Because they're just protecting themselves. They have a right to protect themselves. They have a right to drop bombs in Iraq, even though Iraq did absolutely nothing. They have the authority to drop bombs in Lebanon, even though Lebanon didn't instigate a thing. Oh, but Hamas. I agree that, Hamas has done many things that they shouldn't have. Who they are or what they are, nobody really knows. Okay, they may or may not be a terrorist organization. These people, on one side of the fence, it seems to look like that it's been people who have been radicalized because Palestinians have been kept in an open-air prison that is Gaza and the West Bank. They can't leave. Their trade is restricted. They have unclean water. The IDF shoots their children. I mean, what would you do? Take this for example. What if here in the state of Texas, Mexico comes in and says, you know what? Hundreds of years ago, this was Mexican land. We're taking it back. But I'll tell you what, we're going to give you the Dallas-Fort Worth area. All Texans, all of you are going to go to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. You can't go anywhere else. Only the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We'll give you that. But we're going to go ahead and build a wall. We're going to build a massive wall all the way around Dallas-Fort Worth. And we're going to put troops all the way around it. You can't leave. You can trade and stuff amongst yourselves, but we're going to regulate it. We're not going to clean your water. What do you think we as Texans would do if that happened? Say that it got to that point. Say that they got that far and put us all in that open air prison that is Dallas-Fort Worth. Say that they got that far. Do you think that over time we would get a little bit pissed off and we would want our freedom back? What do you think would happen? Do you think groups of people would rise up? Do you think that we would begin to fight for our freedoms again? But people who unwaveringly support Israel are calling those same people that are doing that in Palestine terrorists. Oh, Israel's just defending themselves. Oh, Mexico's just defending themselves from the terrorists in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, from those Texans, from the terrorist organization, the Texans. It's the same thing. The same thing is happening. Time and time again, the United Nations has come in and told Israel, what you're doing's wrong. We just wanted to let you know what you're doing's wrong. It's actually, technically, it's illegal. But that's it. They just say something, but nothing is ever done about it after that. The UN is sure to come out and speak up and warn and say, look, what you're doing is illegal. But they're a tiger without any teeth. They do nothing about it. What you're doing is wrong and illegal. According to international law, it is illegal. But you know, we were just going to let you know that. We were just going to tell you. So go about your business. We'll tell you the next time that you're doing something illegal. Time and time and time again. And Christians in America are pro that. Because Christians in America believe that the third temple has to be built in order for Jesus to come back. It makes no sense. Why, as a Christ-loving, God-fearing Christian, are you aiding and supporting the ushering in of an antichrist? It is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Oh, well, that's not my problem over there, what they do over there. Then why are you supporting it? If it is not your problem over there, if what they do over there is not your problem, then why are you in support of what they are doing? We are the temple. We are. You, Christians, those who Christ has saved. He bled for us. He saved us. We are free in Jesus. But you're supporting the ushering in of an antichrist. I don't know if you know it or not, but, you know, I'm speaking as a Christian, as a God-fearing, Christ-loving Christian. Judaism, they hate Jesus. Absolutely hate them. Talmudic Jews in Israel and in everywhere, they do not believe that Jesus Christ is the Messiah. You are helping them usher in an antichrist. Why? It makes no sense. It is absolutely, contradictory to what the Bible teaches. And there are churches across America teach this stuff. I was taught this stuff my entire life growing up. I don't know why I support Israel. I just know that they're the chosen people. We're all the chosen people. We are Israel. We are. We are God's chosen people. Christ saved us. Christ died on the cross so that we may all be free. We are all the chosen people. There is no one group of people better than the other. There is no Jew, there is no Gentile. It says that. But Trump worshiping, MAGA loving Zionist Christians will continue to their dying day to support this. It doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense to me at all. They have no idea what the Noahide laws are. The laws that the Gentiles are going to be required to adhere to whenever we become the Goyim, or we are the Goyim, whenever we become the slaves of the Jewish people, whenever the Messiah is ushered in. They don't even know that. They don't even know these things. They don't know about Talmudic law. They don't know about the Kabbalah. They don't know about any of the teachings of Talmudic Judaism or Judaism in general. Yet we've always been called, or they've always been called Judeo-Christians. That is an oxymoron. You're a Christian who believes in Jesus Christ and the blood that he shed to die for our sins and save us, but you support the Judaism who hate Jesus Christ and are waiting for their own Messiah. What are you doing? I cannot believe that I believed that garbage for the majority of my life. Christians, it's time to wake up. You're either for Jesus or you're against him. And while you're supporting all this, you're supporting you're supporting our massive warfare state. You're supporting all of our troops that we're sending across the nation to kill and be killed for the elite, for the banksters and the corporations, to progress their agendas. It's time to wake up. I see it every single day. And I try to speak truth, and still, people will not humble themselves. They won't shred an ounce of humility to realize that, there might be a possibility that I could possibly be wrong. And they just keep on. They just keep on supporting it, even though they may feel a bit of conviction in their heart that maybe they may be wrong. That's what I was feeling for a long time. I felt in my heart, I was like, man, this doesn't make any sense to me. Why would God do this? Or why would Jesus do that? And then I learned the truth. I figured it out. It's because I was helping usher in an antichrist. I was helping put people back into bondage. We're free. We're already free in Jesus. Jesus will usher in the New Jerusalem. That land over there that they call Israel is just a piece of dirt. It is a piece of dirt that the Jewish people were kicked out of by God. They were kicked out of it in 70 AD. God allowed the Romans to completely and utterly destroy Jerusalem. And they never entered that land again. And we were told that the next time, that the next Jerusalem is a heavenly Jerusalem that Christ Jesus will be the king of. And here Christian Zionists are helping the Jewish people in Israel usher in an Antichrist, rebuild a worldly temple, usher in the laws of man. Do you know that means that they bring back sacrifices? They're already doing it now. They're doing sacrifices now. Why are we doing sacrifices whenever Jesus Christ was the ultimate final sacrifice? But Christians in America support this. I know people. I know personal people to me that still believe this stuff. It's time to wake up. Our freedoms, our liberties are being trampled here in America. Yet, we continue to support our warfare state. We continue to fight and support for things that are happening in other nations. The forefathers, namely George Washington in his final farewell address, specifically warned us against this. Basically saying in his final farewell address, that warning us against becoming involved in foreign entanglements. Where he basically said that if you get involved in foreign policy, foreign wars, foreign entanglements, that you might as well give up your independence. And that is exactly where it has led. Like I've always said before in my previous videos, guys, it doesn't matter if you're a Christian. It doesn't matter if you're an atheist. If you are living here in America and you love your freedom, we all have to stand together. The truth is God. We are free. We are free because of the sacrifice that Jesus Christ made for us. We were in bondage, and now we are free. And there is no man, not one single man on this planet, that can take that from you or me. But this is all that we see in America today. And the right and the left are supporting it 100%. Conservatives and liberals are supporting it 100%. A little bit at a time, it's being taken away. It's being taken away a lot by the liberals and a little bit by the conservatives. It's being taken away nonetheless. It's time to wake up from the two-party delusion and fight for those rights. For the natural right for me to live in peace and harmony without somebody coming up to me and saying, give me your guns, you can't have that gun, you can't say that, give me money so that you can live on this property, give me a portion of your income. I have a right to live free from that stuff. It's time to wake up, people. Christians, if you want to call yourself a Christian, you need to realize what the truth is. You need to realize what's going on around you. You need to realize that all politicians are taking our rights, including Donald J. Trump. In fact, Donald J. Trump is more anti-Second Amendment than Barack Obama was. He's doing more right now to strip us of our Second Amendment rights than Barack Obama. If Barack Obama was anti-Second Amendment, boy, you people were screaming. Now you're doing nothing. You're saying nothing because you worship Donald Trump. It's time to wake up. It's time to fight. I've sat by idly for too long, waiting for somebody else to save me, somebody else to fight for my rights, and ain't nobody else gonna do it but guys like us and ladies like us. God's remnant, the people who believe that the only thing in this nation The only one in this nation that is going to save us and bring us back to what we were is Jesus Christ. And we all have the right to fight for that freedom. Every last one of us. Atheists, Buddhists, Jews. Do I want you to be saved? Absolutely I do. I love you. I want you to come to know Jesus Christ. I want you to know God the Father. I want you to spend eternity in heaven with me. But does that mean that I hate you and I don't want you in my foxhole? Absolutely not. If you love my liberty and you love my freedom, I'll stand with you. I'll die with you. Because that's the right thing to do. I love you guys. Thanks for joining me on Guard Dogs Vlogs. Share this thing. Let the truth be heard. And I appreciate it. I really do, everybody. Thanks for joining me.